Good morning students, welcome back to our YouTube channel. And friends, in these series of our lectures we are reading class 7 geography, wherein we are reading chapter number 3, our changing earth. In our earlier lectures we have already learnt some endogenic forces, and in the continuation of this series still we will read about endogenic other forces and the formation of different landforms. So basically I believe that you have an idea that these two kind of forces are working to shape or reshape different landforms on the earth crust. We are having different type of mountains on the earth crust. We are having river valleys. We are having deltas of the rivers. Somewhere the land is high, lifted up. Sometimes it is subdued downside vertically. So there are different landforms. So in the continuation of this video, let us start again the endogenic forces. So students, we have learnt about volcanic eruption. As I told you, how the magma start to come up on the earth. In earthquake we learnt about seismic waves, and we learnt about the measuring equipments of the intensity of the earthquakes. We also learnt about landslides. So just because of the internal disturbance, just because of the internal movements of the earth, inside the earth, as I told you, the magma is circulating slowly, and just because of that a kind of pressure is built up, somewhere the low pressure, somewhere the high pressure. तो हमारी अर्थ के अंदर जो मैग्मा है, मोल्टन मैग्मा है, जो तरल पदार्थ है, वो एक सर्कुलर मोशन में घूमता रहता है, जिससे उसके ऊपर तैरने वाली टेक्टोनिक प्लेट्स, उनमें डिस्टर्बेंस क्रिएट होता है. समटाइम्स द डिस्टर्बेंस इज कन्वर्जेंट. कई बार टेक्टोनिक प्लेट्स कि मूवमेंट जो है एक दूसरे की तरफ जब ऐसे होती है उसे कहते हैं कन्वर्जेंट मूवमेंट. और कई बार ये मूवमेंट एक दूसरे से दूर जाने वाली जो मूवमेंट है, पीछे हटने वाली जो मूवमेंट है, इसे कहते हैं डाइवर्जेंट मूवमेंट. और कई बार जो हमारी अर्थ क्रस्ट है वो इंटरनल डिस्टर्बेंस के कारण अपलिफ्ट हो जाती है या वर्टिकली जो है डाउन साइड हो जाती है. ठीक है, डाउनवर्ड जो है मूव कर जाती है, जिससे अर्थ का कुछ पार्ट ऊपर उठ जाता है, कुछ नीचे चला जाता है, जिससे ब्लॉक माउंटेन बन जाती है. तो इस तरह की मूवमेंट्स जो है अर्थ के नीचे होने के कारण लैंडस्केप जो है ऊपर अर्थ पे चेंज होते रहते हैं, शेप होते रहते हैं, रीशेप होते रहते हैं, नए लैंडफॉर्म्स बनते रहते हैं. तो चलिए अब हम इसी एंडोजेनिक फोर्सेस वाले टॉपिक में कवर करते हैं फॉर्मेशन ऑफ माउंटेन्स. सो स्टूडेंट्स, लेट मी रब दिस फर्स्ट. So due to endogenic forces or internal disturbance, or just because of the movement of the tectonic plates, mountains are also formed, and these mountains are also called as landscapes. So there are three types of mountains. Basically there are three types of mountains. Volcanic mountains, we have already discussed about this one, volcanic mountains. Second, block mountains, and third, folded mountains. And these three types of mountains are created or produced or made just because of the disturbance inside the earth and just because of the movement of the continental crust. So how these different type of mountains are formed? So first I told you volcanic mountains are formed just because of the the coming up of the magma, and it is accumulating and it is taking a shape of a mountain, a triangular shape, a conical shape it is taking on the earth crust. So it will form a volcanic mountain. I have already discussed this thing. Now how these block mountains and fold mountains are formed just because of the internal disturbance. So let us understand this thing. So student, as I told you that sometime the tectonic plates are moving and doing the convergent movements like this. Okay, so suppose these are two blocks of earth, and they are doing this kind of convergent movement. They are moving towards each other just because inside the earth, down to this earth crust, the tectonic plates are converging towards each other. So just because of this convergent movement, the earth crust, these blocks of the earth crust are moving towards each other. So slowly and gradually what will happen, these two blocks will strike to each other, they will hit each other, and just because of high pressure from both the sides of the earth crust, they will start to, uplift like a fold. Suppose you have a towel here. You can do this activity at your home, and when you will push this towel from both of the corners, so you will find that there will be fold in the towel like this. Okay, so similarly, when the convergent movement is happening on the earth crust, then this land part, when they will strike to each other, then they will start to fold like this. So earth crust will fold like this, and it will take the shape of a fold mountain. Our Himalaya, this is also a fold mountain. So how these fold mountains are created? Just because of the pressure from the both sides of these blocks. These blocks are, putting pressure on the earth crust, and in this way this earth will start to fold like this, and these kind of fold mountains will be formed. So I gave you one example that Himalaya is a fold mountain. Now it is your task. You have to find out two other mountains all around the world which are also called fold mountains. So this is how the fold mountains are formed. Now let us talk about block mountains. How the block mountains are formed. So students, just because of the convergent movement, these fold mountains are formed. Now how the block mountains are formed. So the movement could be convergent, divergent, or maybe vertical or upside downside subduction of the earth crust. So just because of this, suppose again these are the blocks. These are the blocks where one of the block of the earth crust has, it has been shifted downward. It has, okay, let's move, give me 1 minute. Let me make this like this. Okay, so suppose this is a continuous form of crust. It was a flat surface on the earth crust, but under this the tectonic plates are doing, some of the part of the tectonic plates are doing such kind of disturbance that half of the part of this earth crust subdued downward and half of the part uplifted upside. So just because of this kind of blocks are moving up or down, and these kind of blocks are framed or shaped. So these kind of mountains which are formed just because of the subduation of or upliftment of a block of the earth crust, these mountains are called block mountains. Okay, so I think you are able to understand this thing. So we have learnt about three types of mountains which are formed by just because of the convergent, divergent, or vertical movement of the earth crust. And how these movements are happening? Because of endogenic forces, just because of disturbance inside the earth, and just because of the movement of the tectonic plates. In the, at the initial level, when we started this chapter, when I was introducing this chapter, I also told you that even these 7 continents where we are living today, they are also formed just because of the movement of the tectonic plates. It was a huge mass earlier. It was a Pangea, and after cracks, after breaking down, it started to drift away from each other, and the movement of these tectonic plates is very slow. So just because of these endogenic forces or internal forces, sometimes due to volcanic eruptions or sometimes due to earthquakes or vibration or trembling of the earth, we have already discussed this. So two kinds of changes are happening. Some changes are sudden changes which are happening just because of earthquake and volcano, and sometimes just because of this convergent and divergent movement of the tectonic plates, some slow movements are happening, some slow changes are happening. So we have covered endogenic forces. In our next lecture, we will study about exogenic forces, where we will learn about some erosional and depositional activities done by the streams or the channels of water flowing from the mountains, originating from the mountains and reaching to the seas. We will learn about the sea waves which are continuously flowing and hitting on their source to the rocks, and they are cutting down them and shaping the rocks in different shapes. And we will also learn about winds are blowing, and in desert area you will be able to find different sand dunes, and these sand dunes are changing their shape every day. So students, see you again in next lecture. Bye.